Alright, if you've been on this channel any, you may know that I had a couple other vehicles. I had a 2015 Challenger and a 2007 Ford Expedition. And I honestly don't remember what videos I had posted for each one of those. I know I had a couple on the Challenger. I can't remember if I ever got anything put up on the Expedition. But they're both gone now. The Challenger, unfortunately, met its end to a deer this past September. The day after Labor Day, I hit a deer on the way to work, totaled the car out. It was $11,000 worth of damage at the body shop. I think I could have fixed it for $3,000, but I had ended up having to pull a loan on it to cover the down payment on the house that we bought this past year. Um, and the insurance paid that loan off, and that just set us up financially a little bit better than we were. So I went ahead and let it go. Um, Around the first of the year, I bought a 2015 Ford Explorer just to drive back and forth to work. I couldn't find a Challenger or anything I liked in that price range. I paid just a little over $10,000 for it. So then I was left with the Expedition, which I didn't want anymore. It didn't fit our needs, and I really wanted to buy a pickup. So I got it all cleaned up, and I was able to sell it for $2,500. And then the truck you see in this video, I turned around and bought for $2,800. So I feel like I did pretty good. Well, so here it is. One thing that annoyed me is this truck came out of Utah, and coming out of Utah doesn't annoy me, but that wasn't in the posting, and I really dislike when people pull stuff like that. I was not wanting to deal with an out-of-state truck, but for what I got it for, I guess I'll deal with it. It did spit a plug. He fixed it. The guy that I dealt with, he was selling it for another individual, I guess for the original owner. It sounds like the guy was driving through here from Utah. He's a friend of the guy that I was working with, and it spit a plug, and he didn't want to deal with it anymore. And that's all fine and good. I can't believe this guy was driving this thing from Utah to wherever, because the drive from Salina, Kansas to my house here was terrifying because of the front end and the steering slop. So yeah, there's some work to be done. It drives really good other than that. Like it's got some vibration in the front end, but that's probably to do with whatever's going on. I need to look at all the tie rod ends, and the ball joints all look pretty decent. The tires aren't showing any odd wear patterns. The brakes are a little mushy. It probably needs a new soft lines front and rear. We'll go through pads and rotors, check all of that over. It starts up good. It's obnoxious. I'll do a start here in a minute, but that was also kind of funny because the guy, he goes, well, it doesn't sound the best. They're trying to cram 10 cylinders through a single exhaust, so it doesn't sound the best. And I thought, well, that's kind of odd. And then I look underneath, and yeah, no wonder it sounds odd. There's just a cat and then open exhaust, and that hanger's broken, so it's gonna need some work, some parts. The bed is trashed, and it looks like it's been poorly repaired once before. But I mean, it's all trashed through here too. The bed's The bed's junk, the tailgate's junk. It's got the fifth wheel in it, which I'm going to pull out because I won't need that. I feel like it's a pretty good truck though. I mean, the rockers are all solid, and that says a lot. Cab corners are rock solid. You know, we've got some stuff starting here, but that door's locked. But yeah, front fenders aren't bad, and I'm not looking to build a show truck or anything. I don't necessarily care about the exterior. You know, this was poorly painted, but kind of looks cool white. But yeah, I mean, I don't care about the body too much, other than, you know, making sure it's not rotted out, which it's not. Look here, some wear. I mean, that's all solid. So I feel like for what I paid, it's a pretty good deal. Yeah, all that looks great. Bed I can replace. I've thought about finding a service bed to put on it or something like that. Alright. Well, that's probably where it's coming from. Look terrible, but I think I'm gonna have to jack the front end up to know for sure. Yep, that is shot. How about that one? Everything else looks good. Yep, it's just the drag link. Okay, so oh yeah, that's terrifying. She's been dry for a while. So that's gonna have to be replaced. Alright, so we are now resorting to mild violence. I'm fairly confident that the pitman arm is fine, but yeah, no, that confidence just went away. Yeah, it's got a bit of slop in it. Yeah, it does. It's too loose to come out the normal way. So I'm going to try cutting it out. Okay, something I didn't really cover here. That pitman arm is junk, and it needs to be replaced. And I've still got some steering slop, and I'm pretty sure that's where it's coming from. Later on, I'm also going to realize that the castle nut goes below the cotter pin hole, which is because the pitman arm is completely worn out and needs to be replaced. So this is not a tutorial. This is just a fat guy working on his truck in his driveway for entertainment purposes only. If this was your truck, you should be replacing that pitman arm. They're okay. We can make this work. Hey, out. Oh. I don't know, maybe I should have tried smacking that up into there first, but that's alright. Alright, there's that. Yes, I'm going to be using a chrome socket. It's because I have no idea where my Impact 15 is. That's the problem with moving. Everything gets misplaced. I complain about moving a lot because a lot of my stuff is missing. But I should point out that this is more garage and more work area than I've ever had. And I'm working in the driveway. One, it was a beautiful day out, and two, this truck isn't going to fit in my garage height-wise. But I am very grateful to have this driveway. No, not really. More tools missing. You know, the tear down on this stuff is always the worst part, right? Because it's all crusty and dirty and full of crap. And I fought with this thing for quite a while. I cut I cut probably 20 minutes of video out of just this section trying to get this stupid thing to loosen up and come off. And it's always funny, right? Because you fight and you fight and you fight, and then it all comes apart, and then it all goes right back together just quickly. And I guess that's the joyful part of working on your stuff, right? Fixing it, having it right. But I really do hate fighting with this stuff. Two, 8, 13, 14, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. 25. One, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 25. Ugh. Get a grease gun on this. I don't know what mine is because we moved. Now, yeah, I probably should have also replaced this pitman arm. That can get done later on. For now, this is going to be way better than it was. Let's tighten this thing down. You hear it change? It's tight. I'm going to put it in this way so that it does not fall out. Then it comes loose. That looks like I tried to accomplish something. So next thing I'm going to work on is the truck needs a heater core. It was definitely giving off some odor, and I drove it to work one cold morning and it was definitely misting the window. So I'm going to get into doing the heater core next. I've got to do a heater core. And this is an adventure for me because I've never done a heater core on a truck like this. But it looks like I should be able to get to everything through here. I should be able to take this out from what I've seen. So we're going to get to that. I think what I'm going to do is I'll start by taking this plate off and seeing if I can move this stuff out of the way. And then one of the suggestions I got online was just to take a blade or something and cut the lines of the old heater core, because those spring lock clips can be kind of difficult to get undone. So I'm going to work on all that, and I'll come back and let you know how that ends up. Alright, so I kind of did what they said. I used my Dremel and I got up underneath, and let's see if you can see that. So I cut through it about halfway, and then I was able to just break it off. Now I've got to get it out of the spring lock, which, like, there's no way that was ever coming undone. Like, this is a terrible design. So yeah, cutting it off is going to be the best method, and then I think I'm going to have to get a pick in there to release those clips. And if you look at videos, there's a lip there that snaps past those clips, and then you're supposed to squeeze the two clips on the outer edge, and that's supposed to release it. And I knew looking at it that wasn't going to be a thing that was going to happen. I don't even think the specialty tool would have done it, because I don't know. I don't think it would have ever come out. So cutting them off is definitely the best method. I'm going to figure out how to get that stub out of there now without breaking the plastic, because the last thing I want to have to do is go buy more parts for this. So, well, I did exactly what I didn't want to do, and I leaned on that just a little too hard, trying to bend this pipe and break it. I hadn't chewed through that enough. This is the would be the one furthest to the outside of the vehicle, and it just snapped off, and it really didn't take that much force to just snap it. So now I've got to go get the repair barb. I don't even know if my auto parts store carry it. I ended up cutting it from the inside, which is what I should have done to begin with, and then this tube just pulled out. So
okay.
Yeah, not impressed. I do think using a Dremel to cut both from the inside is probably the better option. Alright, I've got that in. I've got the core in. Now, I bought the Spectre core. They sell an alternative version, I think Spectre sells one too, where
the tubes can rotate, and I'm guessing they designed that for shipping costs. I didn't want to deal with that because that looked like a place for a failure. I don't have any experience with it, so I don't know. But when I went to put the Spectre unit in, it took some tweaking, and it didn't look like it was going to fit. It looked like the tubes were entirely too long to hit the holes and for the core to sit into its housing. But once I got everything kind of tweaked and where I thought it should be, it fell into place. So that fits good. I got my repair barb put in. I went ahead and double hose clamped it. Probably don't need to because it is barbed, but I did anyways, and if you don't approve of it, I don't care. So that's what I did, and what you do is you. But there it is. There's the replacement unit. That's $16 for that little black fitting with the spring lock in it. I thought about just running the hose on there and putting some clamps on it. Probably would be all right if you could get it to go over the ridge and put a hose clamp on it. You'd probably be fine. Let me show you what I'm talking about. If you could get it to go over that, I don't think you could. But if you could, you put a hose clamp on it, you'd probably be fine. Mine came out kind of mangled, so I wasn't able to compare the tube positioning to my old one. I did a little bit, but if you can get it out without mangling it. My recommendation is, like everybody else said, to go inside and cut the tubes off inside the cab, not necessarily outside. You can get to them better. And then it just comes right out. Definitely no better for the next one. Okay, so the blend door works now. I'm not getting any vent change. One of the actuators, I'm assuming there's two actuators. I don't know this system. But one of the actuators does appear to be moving. That's the one that's right behind the glove box. That appears to be defrost or floor vent. But I'm never getting anything out of the dash vents. That could just be that the tubing is jacked up too, I suppose. Yeah, I don't know. That would be another date. The actuator here moves slow and doesn't seem to want to move the whole distance on its own. So I don't know if that's indicative of a vacuum leak or a bad actuator. I'll have to do some research on that. I'm letting it, I warmed it up. I'm letting it build some pressure now. I had a hell of a time getting that inner spring lock to go on and to a latch. I got my endoscope out and looked, and it looks like it's latched. But I figured I'd let this build up some pressure and make sure. Let it, see if it blows off or not. So I'm going to let it sit here for a little bit, build some pressure. I can get that put back on. And then I'll do an oil change. And then she should be ready to go, other than that back window. We'll see how my ambition's looking after that. I didn't see any reason in recording the oil change for you. Oil was pretty black. But it wasn't gritty or anything. I'm just betting it hadn't been changed in a while. I don't know. The story on this truck is weird. Oh. Yeah. Looks like diesel oil instead of gas, but it wasn't gritty. I didn't see anything too concerning in it. But she's got fresh 5W30 synthetic blend. Yeah, that all looked good. Pressure came up. Haven't had any issues here. I think it's getting late enough in the day that I don't want to do this window just yet.
So, I've still got a window to do. I already had a windshield put in. I don't think I mentioned that. when I bought the truck, the front windshield was cracked. It wasn't in the visible range, or the view range, but I went ahead and had it replaced. There were some other comments I wanted to make on this truck. I made a comment early on that I didn't want to deal with an out-of-state truck, and that's still true. It was 3 times the effort and 4 times the paperwork to get this thing tagged and titled in the state of Kansas. It took me a week and a half and 3 trips to the DMV and 1 trip to our inspection office. And the guy at the inspection office was real cool. He didn't give me any BS. I've talked to other people that have dealt with other individuals, and they got dinged on safety related stuff. And it's like you're just a VIN inspection, and that's what this guy did. He just did a straight VIN inspection, $20, and once the inspection started, I think we were there less than 10 minutes, and I was out the door. So I really appreciated that. But I dislike dealing with out-of-state titles. I only have experience in the state of Kansas. I'm sure it's a similar issue in other states. I'm sure other states are more difficult because of emissions and testing, and I think they do require safety inspections in. It was a good experience though, because there's projects in the future that I want to take on that will require me to do those inspections. I know. As I get this truck ready to go, I'm going to be looking for a trailer. So the whole reason that I wanted a truck, and the reason I wanted an F350 and I wanted a crew cab, is because I want to start being able to go and buy stuff. And I had mentioned early on that I was going to be looking for an auction challenger. That means that I want to be able to drive down to OKC and hit an insurance auction down there, or Coparts, or bring a trailer, or just something on Marketplace, and go get whatever it is I want. I say an auction challenger, I'm looking for something that has some damage to the front end, or that needs some work. One, I want to generate some content, but two, I'm looking to go what I'm hoping is a more cost-effective route, because I want to build the car that I want. I can't necessarily find the Challenger that I want with all of the options that I want. So the thing I've noticed about Stellantis's platforms, the Dodge, the Jeeps, all of that, they're pretty common across the board, and it appears to be pretty easy to swap parts and kind of build your own thing. So I want a SXT Plus, I want all-wheel drive, but I want the nicer leather interior, and this, that, and another. And there's some other projects beyond that I want to do that are kind of in that same platform. I'd like to build a Challenger front-end swapped Magnum at some point. And then I've got body swap plans for other things. So we have our own place now. We're no longer renters. I have a garage that I can work out of. I have property that I can build a shop on eventually. And I really want to start trying to build this channel up. So I really appreciate everybody who does watch. If you've been waiting on me to post something, I'm sorry. This last year has just been insane for us, and things are finally starting to calm down, and I can finally start focusing on other stuff. So I'm going to try and get back into this content. I'm still trying to find my footing and my voice and my style. I'm going to be changing software. And then the next video after this, we're going to be playing with some lawnmowers. And then after that, hopefully I can get back into this truck, get that window put in, and put a stereo in it, because I hate the stereo that's in it. So I really appreciate you watching. I'm going to put some affiliate links for Amazon affiliate links down below. Even if you don't buy the products that are listed in those links, just clicking on that link and then buying something else, I still get credit for. It doesn't cost you anything extra, kicks me a little bit of money. I've been sending Mark affiliate links for anything that he buys for the past year, and after 2 years I cashed in $100, and that's just one person buying stuff. So if you guys just click on the links and go buy something, there'll be a link down there for the heater core and a couple other things. If you don't buy those specific items, that's fine. But again, I really appreciate everybody watching. I want to try and get these numbers up, and I'm going to try and get more posted. So, thanks, guys.